the best rental houses. Hey gang, this is Mike with TheNewFlip.com, and today I want to talk about my experiences since 2006 being a professional landlord and what I think, in my opinion, are the best rental houses. Okay. Now I like to categorize rental houses in two categories. Okay. The first category, what I call, is the massive cash cow category. Okay. The massive cash cow categories are properties that you can, depends what state you're in, but for example in Texas there's areas we can buy properties for $30,000, $50,000, $70,000, and that property will give us a monthly cash flow of over $1,000 a month. Okay, maybe $1,100, $1,200 max. Now these massive cash cow rental properties, this category, they're usually older homes. They're usually in, I don't want to say war zones, but close to war zones, and areas that, there may be a lot of saturation there, but it's not the if there was a class of buildings, it's not the A building or the B buildings. They're like C and D and F. Okay, so C and D and F, if you categorize buildings, are what I call massive cash cows. Now, these properties do exactly that. You buy it for 30, you buy it for 50, depends on what part of the country you're in, and they'll split out $1,000 a month. So that's a pretty good deal. Where can you go put 30 grand in or 50 grand in? Depends what season are you buying. Are you buying in the crash, or are you buying at the peak? If you're buying in the crash, it'll be 30. If you're buying at the peak, it'll be 70 on a basic example in Texas, and you can make $1,000 minimum out of them. That's a pretty good deal. So the benefit of this is massive cash cow. Now, let's talk about some of the cons of that. Well, let me go to the next category, and then I'll come back to the cons. The other category is what I call massive appreciation houses. Again, that's what I call massive appreciation houses. What does that mean? Well, what that means is that these properties are going up in value year after year because they're in high demand area. They have great school systems, for example, and a lot of people want to move there. A great example of that in, let's say, Dallas, Texas, is like Coppell. Right? Coppell is a highly demanded area. Many people want to move there. It's not that big. So the school system are very great. Okay. That said, there's other parts that are great too. I don't want to get into city-wise, but giving you an example. So the appreciation, the cash flow appreciation rental properties, the reason I like them is, one, they spit out cash flow, okay? But they also appreciate in value above just inflation. Above inflation, because we're constantly printing money, so the price of value go up, but above inflation because there's more demand for people to move there. Now, my favorite type of rental properties are what I call first-time home buyers, or in other words, entry-level homes. Okay, so I like massive appreciation rental properties, okay, that are first-time home buyers or entry-level homes. I do not invest into massive cash cows because they're in usually war zones or close to war zones, and they're going to be C, D, and F types of buildings, which means they need a lot of repairs and maintenance. Now, what I like to rent my properties, when I buy properties, the way I like to rent it out is I like to rent it out in areas that are going to appreciate in price, but also they're not war zones, and at the same time I can get great tenants in there. What are great tenants? School teachers. What are great tenants? City workers. What are great tenants? People that have college degrees, right? I don't want to be owning property, even though I may make massive cash cow, and dealing with people that I don't want to deal with, okay? Because, they may not have college degrees, they might be living in the war zone, and I'm not trying to discriminate or, disrespect people like that, because me and my family came from there. But as a business, I rather own property that spits off cash flow, but every year is going up 10%. Every year is going up 12% or even more because there's so much demand to move in there and there's not that much units there. Okay. Now, another thing I want to consider, I want to help you guys consider is that if you buy really expensive property, right, like then it's going to be really hard to make a cash flow. You're going to go into negative. For example, in Texas, you know, if I buy a home that's 150,000, 200,000, I can make that cash flow. If I buy a house that's 500,000, 700,000, $1 million, I'm not going to get a cash flow from it. Okay, because even though interest rates are ultra low today, there's more chances of me getting a cash flow. But normally, I wouldn't be able to get a cash flow from it, especially in the last crash. Okay, the reason is the mortgage is so high versus the rental comps. So whenever I rent it out, let's say the mortgage will be $5,000, and when I rent it out, I could only get $3,000. So I'm going to be going in a whole $3,000. And now that might not be a bad plan if you're ultra successful and you have multiple businesses and you're in a high tax bracket, so you can wash it off. Okay, but if you're looking to get a return on your investment today, then I don't invest into these ultra rich homes because I'm not going to get a positive cash flow from it. Sure, the property may go up in value, but I rather invest in entry-level homes, first-time homeowner homes that are pretty, that are in a high-demand area, in an appreciating area versus depreciating area. And these things are going to give me very good cash flow. Now, in the 2006, 2007 crash, I was able to get 300 to 400 plus per deal, per house, per door. But in this market, with the economy being the way it is, the interest rates being at ultra zero, an entry-level home, I'm going to be able to get double what my mortgage is. So I'm going to get double what PITI is. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I can invest into these areas that are going to be appreciating and get the same cash cow or close to the same cash cow as war zone properties. All right. Now, one of the things you have to understand is that investing in rental properties is a great opportunity to make massive passive money, which means you don't have to go to work. But there are also withdrawals with them. Okay, there's also negative consequences with them. What do I mean? If you invest into the war zone, for example, then there's going to be a lot of repairs. There's going to be bad tenants. There's bad tenants everywhere, but you're going to have more likely of getting bad tenants that don't pay. You got to do evictions, etc. Where the way when I invest in appreciating cash flow areas, I'm dealing with, for example, my when I had my rentals in the last crash, I rented it out to a professor at a university. I had city workers, I had teachers, you know, I had people that had college degrees that were actually working. And so none of my rentals ever went to anyone that didn't have a college degree because the rents were a lot higher than cash flow rental properties that are in a war zone or close to war zones. So the benefits of having higher end rental properties is that you get better quality tenants. Okay. Now that doesn't mean I don't have to do evictions. Yes, I still did plenty of evictions. Okay. When you're a landlord for so many years, you're gonna have to do evictions. Okay. I've never had anyone destroy my home, right? But I did have to evict a couple of people, and my property management company did that, so it wasn't that bad. But I could imagine having what I call shittier rental properties, or cash flow properties in the war zones or close to war zones, and I would have to evict a lot more. My property would probably get vandalized when it was vacant, when I'm trying to rent it out. The other thing is that the people were going to be like more of a headache customers, where I have to hear their stories, their sad stories, and their bullshits, and I don't want to deal with that. Okay, you got to pay rent or you're out. So because I owned 3 businesses back in the days, I had massive cash cow and had bank money in the bank, so I wanted to buy nicer parts of town, and I didn't care that I only got $300 a month cash flow from it versus a property that I could get $1,000 cash flow from it. And nor did I care that I have to buy this property at 150 where I can go to another part of Dallas and buy a property for 30,000 or 50,000 and it would give me $1,000 cash flow. So in my opinion, the best rental properties are first-time homeowners properties, entry-level properties, and appreciating areas that are in high demand, that are not war zones. Okay. Another reason why I like homes in a nice part of town that are appreciating is because I don't like to do work on properties, man. You know, I don't want to have a rental property and the guys calling me all the time for maintenance services. I'd rather buy a newer home that doesn't require that much service, doesn't require that much maintenance. It's a newer home, and I'm not buying at the top of the market. I'm buying in the crash, and I'm not buying luxurious homes to rent them out. Okay, I'm buying entry-level homes that are massively in demand for rentals. So my holding, the days I gotta hold them when I put a new vacancy is usually 30 days or 60 days at the max. Okay, and there's a lot of people that want these properties. They're beautiful properties. They're the type of properties that I would live in. Okay, because the way I do it is, if I'm not willing to live in this property, I don't want to own it. Okay, well, what do I mean? I got family, kids. I want to live somewhere that I feel safe. And if I don't feel safe in it, I don't want to own that rental property. Now, that doesn't mean that's a great way of doing business, but for you, your level of safety might be different than my level of safety. For you, your situation might be different than my situation. For you, you're not looking. You're looking to just get massive cash cow so you can quit your job. Maybe you're looking to get massive cash flow because you have all these liabilities. So your strategy might be different. But for me, I like pretty properties in a pretty area, in a high demand area with good school systems. I like the houses to be new or close to new. I want them to have hardly any kind of repairs. I'm not gonna buy a fix and flipper and then fix it up and rent it out. No, all the properties that I ever bought, the rental, they didn't need any kind of work. I just rented it out. Now, I did put work into them because I like to change the carpets and have them all vinyl because that saves me a lot of money. I like to go ahead and paint all the houses one color so I don't have to have 50 different kind of colors. So there's things that I do to make all my rentals, the inside of them, the same. But overall, all the houses that I bought never needed any kind of major work. They didn't need any kind of minor work besides just a deep cleaning. And the type of renters that I got were awesome, guys. Now, I did have some eviction, but you could expect that in the rental business. But I could not imagine myself dealing with, war zones, even though I may make a lot of money, but I'm going to be pulling out my hair. I don't want to do that. I want to buy rental properties and not really know I have them to the first of the month when I get the paychecks. Okay, that's what I like. And not saying that there's not any friction. In business, you're always going to have friction, but I like to realize what type of audience I want to work with and only work with those type of audience, guys. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Go ahead and click the like button. Let me know if you have any rental properties. Also, let me know if you want to own rental properties and what state you're from, guys. Thanks so much. God bless. And don't forget, guys, go to MrNoFlip.com. We're having a major sale in all my advanced courses. And right now you can get them for a couple of bucks versus going to all these seminars and spending thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff that doesn't work. Hustle and bustle. Peace.